Hey everyone, so excited for today's video because it's another cozy fragrance video on the couch. These are some of my favorites to film because scents just have such a transformative power and everyone experiences them differently. So keep in mind, as I give reviews, you might smell something totally different. In fact, I was doing a lot of preparation for this video, researching the notes online, watching a lot of YouTube reviews, and I found that every single person had a wildly different take on all of the Ellis Brooklyn perfumes, and I thought that was really interesting. So let's just talk about the perfumes in general. What you're gonna get with Ellis Brooklyn is fragrances that are a little bit lighter, a little fresher, a little more simple across the board. You're not gonna be getting a perfume that like smacks you in the face and everyone at the office can smell it. Nothing like that. It's not gonna be the kind of perfume that you apply and then when you shower at night, you still wake up and you smell it the next day. That's not this brand. Pretty much all of the negative reviews I saw online just complained about the fact that they didn't last very long, but I love that. I get headaches so easily from perfumes. I have yet to get a headache from any Ellis Brooklyn scent, and I'm the kind of person who changes up my perfume every single day, sometimes even several times throughout the day. So I like when a fragrance lasts about 3 to 4 hours, which is what I find Ellis Brooklyn fragrances last. In the morning, I'll want something maybe a little more fresh and clean, a little bit more skin-like, maybe a little bit more floral. And in the evening, I might want something darker, smokier, woodier, more vanilla. So Ellis Brooklyn is the kind of fragrance brand that just totally aligns with my personal needs. Also, if you are someone who wants something cruelty-free, vegan, and clean at Sephora, then this is a brand for you. I also saw a lot of people online saying that they love Ellis Brooklyn so much because it's so hard to find cruelty-free and vegan perfumes, which I wasn't aware of. So just keep all of that in mind if you're shopping for some of these perfumes. I know for myself, I am not the kind of person who can wear a Tom Ford fragrance. Literally all of them give me headaches, unfortunately. So I know now I need things that fade a little bit more quickly. That's just what works for me. Do whatever works best for you, and now let's get into the reviews. I don't have any tester strips, so I just cut up a bunch of ratchet pieces of paper. Keep in mind, I've already tested all of these on my skin several times. It's obviously a lot better to test perfume on your skin because so much of a fragrance depends on how it interacts with your natural body chemistry. But I've already smelled these so many times on my skin, I just need to kind of remind myself on paper. And we're gonna start with my favorite, which is Myth. I've talked about this so many times on YouTube and on my Instagram, so I'll keep it relatively brief, but this is one of the most skin-like fragrances I've ever smelled. I saw someone online describe Myth as a cuddling scent, and I thought that was such a perfect description. It's the kind of scent that people will smell if they come in close contact with you, if they hug you or something like that. It's super musky, and it's interesting because normally I hate a super musky fragrance. I find that musky scents sometimes give me a headache, but this one doesn't. It's like clean, soapy, fresh, some florals in there as well, like you used a shampoo that had like a little bit of a floral fragrance. But then on the flip side, there's musk, and it's like sexy skin, almost like my body odor, and I've said that before, and I don't know if it makes sense. This fragrance almost comes alive when you sweat, so like bear with me here. This is the kind of fragrance I just feel like it's kind of like an after sex fragrance. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just sexy because on one hand it smells so like clean and fresh and inviting, and then it smells kind of floral and feminine, but then on the other hand it kind of smells like warm skin. It's just sexy. And then of course I saw online on Fragrantica, a lot of people said this was like way overrated and it was so simple and all they smelled was musk, but for me, I get complexity in this one. It's simple, but it's also complex at the same time. I don't know how to describe it. It's like skin. So the website says the top notes are bergamot, ombrette seeds, and cassis. Mid notes are tiger orchid, pink lotus, and jasmine petals. And the dry notes are patchouli, liquid musks, and cedarwood. I am smelling that bergamot. I love bergamot in fragrances. No wonder, that makes sense. I think the jasmine really comes through. The patchouli is not really noticeable to me, but I definitely get liquid musks. And I think the musk being combined with cedarwood is what makes it really interesting for me. I just love it. I applied all of these on my body this morning and I had John smell every single one. He said it smelled clean, soapy, like jasmine, and a little bit powdery. He said it's the kind of scent he can see me wearing while I work. which is pretty funny because this is the fragrance that I wear when I'm working every day. So I didn't tell him that, but that makes sense. I have my little samples here and I'm gonna go in no particular order. The next one is Super Amber. I'm gonna smell everything on my own before I look at the notes on the website because I really wanna just listen to my own nose to pick out what I can smell the most. So with Super Amber, you smell a lot of amber, but it's also incredibly musky. I think there's something else in there, maybe rose? I just smell like amber, rose, and musk. It's very, very simple. This is the kind of scent I can wear if I'm spraying it very, very lightly. Otherwise, I just find that it's so almost one note that it's too powerful and overwhelming. It's personally not my kind of fragrance, but it's not my least favorite. Like, I could totally wear this no problem and think it smells just fine. What I get is something a little bit astringent. I find that with a lot of perfumes that really lean into those musks, I do sometimes feel like it's a little astringent on my nose. And when I asked John what he thought of this one, he said he thought it smelled nice, but nothing special, and I would totally agree with that too. So Ellis Brooklyn says that Super Amber is a perfume for people who don't like typical perfumes. It's supposed to be just a cozy, warm, addictive scent that envelops like a cashmere blanket on warm, bare skin. So this one is not structured with any top, middle, or base notes. It's basically saying that it blooms once it interacts with your skin's own unique chemistry. So it's unlike anything else you've ever smelled. But the notes say that there is amber, vanilla orchid, Virginia cedarwood, and musk. That makes sense for me because I find that with very, very musky fragrances, they kind of turn almost a little bit sour on me. That's why I'm so surprised I like Myth, because in that musk, that sourness in Myth turns to like body odor, but in a sexy way. Whereas the majority of other really musky fragrances for me are just sour and astringent on my nose. So that makes sense that it kind of adjusts to your body's natural chemistry. So it's something that I don't personally love, but I can totally see how good this might smell on someone else. Like, I think that rose I was thinking is the vanilla orchid. That cedarwood, now I can smell it. Maybe something for perfume beginners, or you can use it like a layering fragrance. So if you have some perfumes and there's an amber note and there's some musk in there, but you want to really amplify that, you could kind of layer that over. Also, what I love about Ellis Brooklyn is the majority of their fragrances, if not all of them, come in little $30 travel size bottles, which is just what I buy since I have so many perfumes. I'm never gonna go through a full size bottle, although their bottles are stunning and they're like, in terms of packaging, my favorite that I've ever seen. If you want something simple but warm and very skin-like, then maybe Super Amber would be one for you. We're doing the perfume shuffle. I got one. B. Okay, I don't like this one. Yeah, right on that initial spray, you get medicinal, like cough drop honey. So B is their honey scent, but I just barely get any honey. Once that sort of instant astringency and that sort of medicinal, almost herbal honey scent kind of fades, and it fades fast. The dry down is super floral, and then I start getting a little bit more of the honey, but there's just something in B that smells like when I was growing up, what all of the grandmas were wearing as their fragrance. So like, it kind of smells like old lady perfume to me. I hope that doesn't offend anyone, but it's just what I'm smelling. I don't know what it is. Ellis Brooklyn says, dripping with honey, warmed with dark rum. Ah, haha! That's the astringent one. I hate alcoholic notes in perfumes. I was just talking to John this morning about that. I love cocktails. I love alcohol, love rum, love bourbon, love gin, love juniper berries, but I don't like it in perfumes. I just find any type of alcoholic liquor note really just reads as like astringent, medicinal, makes me curl my nose. So, that totally makes sense what that is. Okay, yep, got it. Dark rum, vanilla bean, sandalwood, cocoa absolute. Here's what's funny. I'm enjoying now the way that this paper smells, but I hate this on my skin. On the paper, it smells really good. So that's why it's so important to test fragrances on your skin, because I can get the rum and the cocoa and even a little bit of some creamy sandalwood that I could not get on my body. On my body, the rum was just astringent, the honey was just artificial and medicinal, but on the paper it smells nice. So definitely be sure to try to test where you can. And the website says the top notes are dark rum and Divana, I don't know what that is, middle notes of honey, bran absolute, and cinnamon. Huh, okay. Dry notes are sandalwood, vanilla bean, and cocoa absolute. I can see why people like this. I think whatever it mixes with my body chemistry doesn't work, but I like the way that the paper smells. So, you know, it's all subjective. Fragrance roulette. Sunfruit. Sunfruit is one of my favorites from Ellis Brooklyn. Can we appreciate this bottle? I mean, my God, I love the way that looks. If you've watched my other perfume videos, which I'll link in the description box below, you will not be surprised that I like this one. Like the name suggests, Sunfruit is a fruity fragrance, but don't go into it thinking you're gonna get a juicy, warm, summery fruit basket. That's kind of what I was hoping for. And then when I smelled this, I was a little bit disappointed. But over time, I've come to understand the notes, and now I really appreciate this for what it is. Primarily, what I smell is bergamot and pear. That's like the top note, what I get on the initial spray. Definitely some citrus notes as well, maybe orange, maybe lemon. And then as it kind of dries down a little bit, I get more floral notes. So it's kind of fresh, it's kind of floral, but it's primarily fruity. And then as it dries down, there's definitely a little bit of a creaminess. So what I smell is just a touch of coconut, but it's like barely there. I would have loved for them to amp that up a little bit. I just love fruit and coconut together. That's why DS and Durga Debaser is my favorite fruity scent, because it's basically just like fig and coconut in your face, and I love that. This one though, fruit with florals, that's fresh, that's clean. And because of that, it's something I think that you can wear year round. You know, some of my other fragrances like Diptyque L'Ombre Dans l'Eau, that one is primarily black currant and rose, and I love it, but it's so much a springtime scent. Sunfruit, because it's a little bit more fresh and it's also balanced out with, you know, the coconut and a little bit of those florals, I do think it's something that you could wear year round as a fruity fragrance. I think for this to be like a 10 out of 10, knock it out of the park fragrance, I would need a little bit more coconut. I would need a little bit less florals and something a little juicier. I really do appreciate that it's like fresh, it's also floral, and I can wear it year round, and it's something a little bit different, and I appreciate that. When John smelled this morning, he said it smells like a springtime day, very bright. And what was interesting is he actually didn't pick up on the fruit. What he said first when he smelled it was very floral. So for me, I smelled the fruit first, but for John, he smelled the floral. And that just goes to show you how this is really balanced and it's not just a fruit fragrance. So if you're looking for something that's got those fruity notes and it's summery, but you can wear it year round, then this would probably be a great one for you.
Don't worry about me.
Oh, hey buddy, you're looking good. John just walked ass naked behind the camera. Okay, anyways. So now that I got my own subjective experience out of the way, let's look at the website. Tan lines, bare skin, and sun-warmed florals, Sunfruit is unapologetically heady, brazen, and rich. A reinvention of the fruity floral, Sunfruit features a creamy and unexpected blend of fresh fig, bergamot, hand-picked jasmine, cyclamen, I'm not sure what that is, and vanilla. Addictive and aspirational, it's a kind of scent that inspires vacation daydreams. Yeah, I smell the fig now. Now that I know it's fig, I can smell that. I thought it was just the bergamot before. No wonder I keep comparing it to DS and Durga Debaser. Like, Debaser is a fig scent, and this is, the top note is fig. Top notes are fresh fig, bergamot, plum leaves, ooh, and pear. Yeah, I got the pear, I don't get the plum. Mid notes are hand-picked jasmine, cyclamen, orris, and orange blossom. Interesting. I really don't like orange blossom in fragrances, but I like this. The dry down is amber, vanilla planifolia, musks, and coconut. I see that amber kind of rounding it out. I would have loved something tart in there too. Tart cherry, maybe black currant or something, like a tart berry. I'm just being nitpicky here because I really like smelling this. Next up, we have salt. I have a lot to say about this one. I'm very excited. Let me first tell you that I had such high hopes for this fragrance. My friend Kelsey, who's Rosalie Rouge on Instagram, loves salt, loves the scent, and I had really high hopes for it. I tried it maybe like a year and a half ago, and I really didn't like it. All I could smell was ylang ylang. But I knew there was some other stuff in there, and so I kept coming back to it every time I wore salt, like a year ago. I remember thinking like, oh, there's something I love about this, but it's just so floral. But I have totally changed my mind over time. I don't know what it is. I think I've just been smelling so many fragrances. I think, you know, our brains or our noses change over time as well. Something happened, and now salt is one of my favorite fragrances. I actually want a full-size bottle of it now, or at least a travel size, because I'm just hooked. The initial spray you get, fresh soap bubble bath, it reminds me so much of Replica Bubble Bath. But with Replica Bubble Bath, one of the reasons I stopped reaching for it is because it has a very metallic note. There's something like in that fragrance that's in that soapy note, I think, that's just like metallic. But this doesn't have that. But it smells like roses or something floral. Imagine yourself like getting out of the bubble bath in like a white towel, and it's like a springtime day and you can smell those flowers. But it's musky too. So it's like skin-like, a little bit of like a saltiness in it, but I don't really smell the salt. I really just smell like bubble bath, white flowers, musk, and skin. So let's see what John had to say about this. He said, it smells very feminine, floral, and refined. It's like so simple, but so good. The website says salty skin, the creamy heat of the sun, and a whiff of tropical florals. Salt is sensual, complex, and soul healing. Salt features the heady, salty notes of vegan ambergris, with the tropical floral notes of Tahitian tiare? I don't know what that is. And the warmth of sandalwood and musk. So if you don't know, ambergris is the like intestinal lining of a sperm whale. I don't know how someone came across that and decided to turn it into a fragrance, but I do know that it's in a lot of perfume. And in this case, since Ellis Brooklyn is vegan and cruelty-free, they were able to make, you know, a vegan version of that, which is great. Like, there are certain flowers that I just really don't like the smell of, but I guess these tropical florals are the ones that really do it for me. So the notes are top notes of ylang ylang, violet leaves. Oh, that's it. Yep, I smell that. Mid notes are basically Tahitian gardenia and then magnolia dianica. Magnolia flowers. Dry notes are musk, vegan ambergris, and sandalwood. If you are hesitant about floral fragrances but you want to dip your toes, it's just a really good starting point. I feel like this would be a pretty big crowd pleaser. We have 4 left. Apres. It's not my favorite. The name is Apres, and it comes with this beautiful green, like emerald green frosted bottle. Whew. It's so astringent on my, so astringent on my nose, and John had the same experience. It was just like spicy, woody, astringent, like alcohol-y, but I also get some pine sol, and I think that's what really throws me off. So Ellis Brooklyn says, the freedom of the mountains, the rush of alpine air, the bracing freshness of evergreens and the richness of bourbon, praline, and vanilla. Apres is a celebration of the wintry outdoors. Apres opens dewy like first snow, then evolves into a boozy, woodsy brew laced with spices and sweetness. Addictive, compelling, and bold, Apres is a beautifully structured scent with both strong ciliage and longevity. Top notes of saffron, juniper berries, and cardamom. I can maybe almost smell the saffron now. There's definitely something like earthy in there. I think the juniper berries, you know, that's what makes gin. That might be sort of astringent. And the cardamom, that might be the spice I'm smelling. The mid notes are soft suede. I don't know how that smells. Bourbon, yep. Another, you know, alcoholic note that I don't love. Violet, praline, I don't get either of those. Gaiac wood, I do get that, and I love Gaiac wood, just not here. And labdanum. On the dry notes, we have musk, vanilla, patchouli, cedarwood, and sandalwood. Okay, I got it. I don't smell the vanilla at all. I think it's the patchouli that I don't like. All of those other things I could smell, and I was like, there's something in here that's throwing me off. I think Myth has a hint of patchouli in it, but it is like barely there, like barely there. It doesn't smell like incense or anything. Yeah, there's that like strong incense quality in this. To each their own. My friend Mary loves this, and I'm sure she smells great. What are we gonna pick? Okay, sweet. Sweet is perplexing to me. First thing I get is bubble bath, but not the sort of salt bubble bath that was really clean and sophisticated and floral. It's like children's candy scented bubble bath. Like, that's the best way I could describe it. There is something that this smells like from my childhood. Like, there is a childhood bath product or something that this is exactly a replica of. God, I hope I can figure it out. That's gonna kill me. And so it's kind of soapy, but there's candy. Oh, you have a nice butt. Your butt looks good.
Thank you.
You didn't want to put on clothes? I love it. Okay, but what I smell again, pine sol, or just something very chemically, very artificial. Pine sol, bubble bath, and candy is how I would describe it. I sprayed this morning, and when I asked John what he thought of it, he said it smells like cheap perfumes. And he said something also a little bit more offensive, but I'm not going to repeat it. But basically he thinks it smells not so great. So the Ellis Brooklyn website says, a sweet memory of simpler times when living in the present came naturally and with ease. Sweet is an addictive blend of juicy pear, cozy ombrette, playful marshmallow, and the luxe underpinnings of natural orris. Sweet is inspired by the E.E. Cummings poem, In the Time of Daffodils. The top notes in Sweet are pear, ombrette, and bergamot. I don't get the bergamot at all. I don't even get the pear at all. And ombrette is just something musky, so I guess I can smell that. Then mid notes are violet, orris, and heliotrope. All of those are flowers. Marshmallow, I guess that's where the sweetness comes from. Then we have white amber and cashmere. I don't know what cashmere is. I looked it up and it didn't really make sense. This is a confusing one. I just think that it smells like pine sol, soap, and like children's candy. I saw on Fragrantica that someone said this smells exactly like Swedish fish. And while I can't really remember what that smells like because I don't like that candy, a bunch of people agreed with them and said like, wow, you're right, this smells like Swedish fish. So if you like Swedish fish, then you got a perfume that you'll probably love. Two more. Fawn. Fawn is the only one in this video that was not a part of their scent diary set. My friend had an extra one that Ellis Brooklyn sent her, and so she sent it to me. And then I bought a sample of Fawn on eBay for a couple dollars. Fawn is a fragrance that I really like, but I don't think that they've reinvented the wheel here. It's a sunscreen scent. It's got a little bit of coconut in there, but it's mostly a neroli balm. And then it transforms into something much less neroli sunscreen smelling into more of like a subtle powdery fragrance. It definitely smells like a sophisticated woman on vacation, but you know, you could replace that with like Tom Ford Soleil Blanc, Replica Beach Walk, Vacation Inc.'s signature perfume. There are a lot of kind of sunscreen scents out there, and I saw that a lot of people said that was a negative aspect, but I think that's actually a positive because apparently it is so hard to find vegan and cruelty-free fragrances that it's great that they're not totally reinventing the wheel. They're giving you something that you want, that you've smelled before, just in a different way. So I appreciate that. I think what I'm surprised by though is how powdery this is. That's the one thing that's kind of a drawback for me. It's still really nice. I just would have preferred a little bit less of a powdery scent and a little bit less of neroli, more like coconut, a little more vanilla, maybe some fruit in there. And let's see what John had to say about this one. Interesting, okay. I remember John said this one smells dark and sexy and feminine to him, which was really, really interesting because this is like the opposite of dark and sexy, but John smelled dark and sexy, so to each their own. Ellis Brooklyn says, sun-warmed skin, a breeze of spring citrus, and the addictive, milky tones of coconut. Fawn is inspired by coming-of-age novels, how memorable and lingering they are, and the sweet innocence and underlying sexuality of growing up. Ooh. John, you were right. You said it was sexy.
Yeah.
Okay. John needs to start joining these perfume videos. The notes are, on the top we've got neroli, that's a given, Sicilian bergamot, and magnolia oil. I don't get the bergamot. Mid notes are damask rose, lily of the valley, and coconut milk. Yep, I get the rose now. Okay, the coconut, like I said, super light, barely there. And then dry notes of amber, vanilla, and musk. I get the musk. Not so much vanilla or amber though. I would have loved more fruit in there. Maybe like less florals, more fruit, but that's just because I'm not a floral person so much. It's so floral and so much of that neroli balm that I'm just missing out on all those other notes that are in there that I would have liked to smell more. If you love florals, then Fawn is probably the perfect sunscreen scent for you. I much prefer Vacation Inc. signature perfume, but if you like florals, you'll probably love Fawn for summer. And the last one we have is Sci Fi. I think Sci Fi is the most confusing of all of the Ellis Brooklyn scents. I really can't even pick out ever what I'm smelling, aside from some citrus, something sweet, something floral. The website says, otherworldly, unique, and stunning. Sci Fi will change what you know about vanilla-based fragrances. This sexy yet intelligent scent blends vanilla beans with citrus florals and the unexpected jolt of green tea. in an addictive combination that will have you smelling your wrist all day. By taking the known but combining it in an innovative way, Sci Fi is like stellar science fiction, familiar yet attractively futuristic. It's an interesting one. So Sci Fi for me, sometimes I'll wear it and I will think it's amazing, and then 10 minutes later I will be like, this is disgusting, I need to take it off. And then an hour goes by and I'll think, oh, actually that's not so bad. That smells pretty good. I like this. I'm gonna keep using this. And then I'll go back. So it's kind of an interesting one in that way, but I was watching a YouTube video that reviewed Ellis Brooklyn before this, and Sci Fi was by far their absolute favorite, one of the most unique fragrances they'd ever smelled. So if you're looking for something from Ellis Brooklyn and you want something totally different than anything you've smelled before, Sci Fi might be a really good pick. I think that inclusion of green tea is really interesting. Though I can't totally smell it and pick out the notes, I'm sure it's there. The top notes are bergamot and bitter orange. Mid notes are green tea and pink freesia. Dry notes are cashmere woods and vanilla beans. Really simple, but really like interesting combinations going on here. Again, if you want to try something new, maybe pick up the Scent Diary. I think it's between $30 and $35. And you get all of these fragrances except for Fawn. So if you'd like to try Ellis Brooklyn, you can get 10% off with my code StateOfKate10. Now you know some of my scent preferences. Let me know in the comments below if there are any perfumes you think I'd really like. I'm having so much fun exploring different fragrances right now. Let me know if there are any YouTubers you love that review fragrances. That's like all the beauty I'm watching right now. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.